Addis News Hour with the news. I'm Shifarao Lakao. The Ethiopian Ministry of Foreign Affairs has sent us a statement regarding the U.S. government's pronouncement on Ethiopia's internal affairs. The statement reads as follows. The Ethiopian government's current focus and priority has been, and still is, to effectively respond to the humanitarian situation in the state of Tigray. In doing so, it continues to collaborate and coordinate its actions with international partners to reach out to every person in need. With a significant improvement on the security situation in the region, the government has now allowed unfettered access to humanitarian actors. Accordingly, the World Food Programme (WFP) Executive Director David Beasley has confirmed the important progress that has been made in the humanitarian response, while also underscoring the need to do more. The international community needs to respond to his urgent appeal for more resources to scale up the ongoing relief operations instead of continuously lamenting on the dire humanitarian situation in the region. On the other hand, the Ethiopian government has made its position unequivocally clear in relation to human rights abuses and crimes allegedly committed in the Tigray region. It takes its responsibility for the safety, security, and well-being of all Ethiopian citizens very seriously. That's why it is fully committed to undertaking thorough investigations to get to the bottom of the issue and bring perpetrators to justice. In this connection, the government not only welcomed the support of international human rights experts, but also signaled the possibility of collaboration on joint investigations with the relevant human rights bodies. Therefore, the government has shown its determination to engage positively and constructively by responding to the two major asks by the international community, that is, unfettered access for the delivery of humanitarian assistance and independent investigation into alleged human rights violations and crimes committed in the Tigray region. Those are also the main issues raised by the U.S. Secretary of State Mr. Antony Blinken in his press statement issued on February 27, 2021. However, an attempt by the U.S. to make pronouncements on Ethiopia's internal affairs, and specifically the reference to the Amhara region forces redeployment in the above-mentioned press statement, is regrettable. It should be clear that such matters are the sole responsibility of the Ethiopian government, which as a sovereign nation is responsible to deploy the necessary security structures and means available in ensuring the rule of law within all corners of its borders. The Ethiopian government, like any government of a sovereign nation, has in place various organizing principles in its federal and regional structures, which are solely accountable to the Ethiopian people only. The federal government is mandated by the Constitution to ensure peace and security against any threats to the constitutional order of the country. It is in the spirit of this responsibility and holding a nation together from treasonous and divisive forces that the federal government has been undertaking the rule of law operations in the north of the country. Ethiopia has unwavering commitment to honoring its international responsibilities in spite of the destabilizing nature of the challenges that ensued due to high treason of a criminal clique. Nevertheless, honoring international obligations and responsibilities should not be deemed by any entity as an invitation to dictate a sovereign nation's internal affairs. Moving to other news, a delegation led by Deputy Mayor of Addis Ababa City and Chief Administrator of Harare State, Odrin Badri, arrived in the city of Mekelle, Tigray State. The delegation traveled to Mekelle to provide humanitarian assistance to those people affected in connection with the law enforcement operation conducted in the region. Upon arrival at Alula Abba Nega Airport, the delegation was received by Chief Executive of the Interim Administration of Tigray Regional State Mulu Nega, as well as elders and religious leaders. The delegation is also expected to hold discussions with leaders of the interim administration of the regional state. Now, Ethiopian envoy to India, Tizita Mulugeta, dubs the recent visit of Foreign and Deputy Prime Minister Demeqa Mekonnen to India fruitful. The special envoy said Ethiopia had an opportunity to explain to India the existing political situation in the country, especially the conflict in Tigray and humanitarian assistance being delivered to the people of Tigray. Here is what she said.
Period of time, so it is something, it means something to us, and we expect that during the visit, of course, a lot of bilateral issues have been discussed, especially the Ethiopian side took an opportunity to explain to its Indian government regarding the existing political situation about Ethiopia, especially the conflict in Tigray and also the humanitarian assistance that is being delivered to the Tigrayan people at this moment, where despite the reality these days, a lot of media has been echoing the negative part of the issue, despite that the Ethiopian government explained to its Indian counterpart regarding how much access is open to providing humanitarian assistance to the needy over there, and how much Ethiopian government is ready enough to respect human rights and citizens of the Tigrayan people, and also refugees, especially Eritrean refugees around the refugee center in Tigrayan region. And beyond that, it was also an opportunity to explain regarding the conflict, border conflict between Ethiopia and Sudan. So the Ethiopian government explained that the position of Ethiopia is to amicably solve this problem based on negotiation.
Recalling the cordial relationship that Ethiopia and India enjoyed over the years, the special envoy expressed gratitude to the government of India for the solidarity it showed during COVID-19.
Always, whenever there are different kind of difficulties, India has been there to support Africa and particularly Ethiopia. So when this COVID pandemic came last year, India was one of the first countries that sent different kind of medical equipments to India, to Ethiopia, and we are really grateful for that. And our Prime Minister had also a phone call and discussion with His Excellency, the Prime Minister of India. So they have talked a lot in how to cooperate in terms of COVID and other related relationship. Of course, we know that India is the hub of pharmaceutical, and it has like a potential to support many countries, and we are also seeing that they're supporting neighboring countries and also African countries, and we are also studying what are like the ways to get such kind of support from India, and of course my government will consider how to benefit from this relationship.
Now, the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam Office has announced plan to establish a forum to coordinate the participation of scholars in the construction of the dam. In order to establish the forum soon, the office had already established an interim committee whose members are drawn from the Ministry of Science and Higher Education and Ministry of Water, Irrigation and Energy, as well as universities. Professor Afeworq Kasu, State Minister of Science and Higher Education, said his ministry will provide support for the establishment of the forum by coordinating universities. He said the forum should work to counter disinformation regarding the filling of the GERD to make sure that the international community gets the exact information about the Nile River. In a related development, Minister of Water, Irrigation and Energy, Selashi Bekala, briefed Ethiopians drawn from 15 states of the United States about the current status of the dam. In a Zoom meeting held in connection with the 125th anniversary of the Battle of Adwa, Selashi said the GERD project is now more than 78% complete. Ethiopia does not recognize any colonial-based biased rather, and unfair treaties, he said, adding the country will continue developing its natural resources without causing significant harms to downstream countries. The 125th anniversary of the victory of Adwa has been marked in Adama with a panel discussion. House Speaker of Chefe Oromia on the occasion said the victory of Adwa is a testament to the power of unity. Kasaun Chane presents the story as follows.
Speaking on the regular session of Chefe Oromia, House Speaker Lomi Bedo said, the victory of Adwa is a testament for the power of unity. Together, Ethiopians can overcome any challenges, said. At the end, the people will proudly celebrate the victory.
The victory of Adwa is a common victory of all Ethiopians. The victory embodies the gallantry and solidarity of Ethiopians in protecting the country's sovereignty. Our Oromo forefathers did have a irreplaceable role during the war. So our people celebrate the day proudly and will do so henceforth.
Chief of Oromia Regional State Shimelis Abdisa on his part said, effective work is being carried out to conduct the 6 upcoming general elections. He said the state is committed to working with contesting political parties to ensure the 2013 elections to be peaceful, fair and democratic.
Filanno barakana gaggeeffamu nu filanno qofa osoo hin ta'in bara bu'uurri dimokiraasiitti bu'uureffamudha.
This year's election is an election where a democratic foundation will be laid. As a result, the Oromo regional state will exert its effort to make the general election smooth, free, fair and democratic from the beginning up to its end, following the rules and regulations of the National Electoral Board of Ethiopia.
Chefe Oromia has reviewed and approved draft proclamations to improve housing management and transfer, excise tax, water resource development, agriculture quality control, statistics, mineral resource development, and the region's Attorney General.
Now, scholars commend the immense role horses and horse riders for the victory of Adwa in transporting logistics for the war and also in the battlefield in the fight against fascist Italians. Ethiopian war leaders and warriors used to be called by the names of their horses because of the immense contributions of the horses in the battle. Jerusalem Batsia has more.
Many historians agree that Adwa victory witnessed Ethiopians' commitment and sacrifice for freedom and sovereignty of their country. Moreover, Ethiopians practically demonstrated that human beings are equal whether they are black or white and gave this lesson to the world. Techane Jobre is author. He says Ethiopians from all corners of the country had participated in the Battle of Adwa with their horses.
Horses and horse riders' role was remarkable for the victory of Adwa. At that time, we didn't have any vehicles to transport patriots and logistics. Most of the Ras Makonnen army who came from Harar, the Ras Mikael army who came from Yeju, and the army from Salale, they were all horse riders. In general, half of the army in the Battle of Adwa was traveled on horses. All Ethiopian patriots were highly confident in their leaders through avoiding their differences for the common enemy.
Kifane Aifa, who researched on this area, says horse riders and horses had contributed a great role in all ancient battles of Ethiopian history.
During the war between Emperor Lebne Dingil and Imam Muhammad, horse riders and horses had a significant contribution. Similarly, though the Italian army was well armed with modern artilleries including air jets, our forefathers and mothers defeat them fighting with horses and traditional weapons in the Battle of Adwa. That's why horse has a strong relation with Ethiopian battle history.
Kifane added most of the past Ethiopian emperors' warriors, particularly in the Battle of Adwa, were used to be called after the names of their horses due to their significance in the battle and on their daily lives.
Let's see Emperor Haile Selassie. He was known as by his horse Abba Teklil. Emperor Minilik was called Abba Danyo. Emperor Theodorus Abba Tatek. And Fitarari Hapta Georgis Dinagde Kus Dinagde. Most of Ethiopian warriors in the Battle of Adwa were after the name of their horses. Apart from this, horses have played a great role on Ethiopian traditional festivals, in weddings, funerals and so on.
In most rural parts of today's Ethiopia, horses have irreplaceable socio-economic significance.
Now moving on, Vice-Chancellor of Africa International University, Haned Abiya Kaduf, said the victory of Adwa has big symbolism for all Africans, not only Ethiopians. Africans shall mark the victory of Adwa with Ethiopia, which is a symbol of Africa's independence, he said. A Sudanese scholar, Abdul Salam Adam, for his part, said the victory in which Ethiopia overcame the Italian aggressors is a source of pride for Africans. Emmanuel Jorge takes it from here.
Vice-Chancellor of Africa International University, Professor Hunud Abiya Kaduf, told ETV that the victory of Adwa has big meaning not only for Ethiopians but for all Africans. Due to the fact that Adwa is the victory of Africa and the black people, Africa in all corners of the continent shall celebrate the victory, he said.
In my view, a victory of any African country against colonizers is considered as a victory for the whole of Africa. Accordingly, Ethiopia's victory is our victory. We have the pride and the spirit of the victory of Adwa that Ethiopians have. We are very glad of the victory in which the aggressors who came to rob Africa's resources were defeated. When I see Ethiopians celebrating the victory of Adwa with assorted events, I feel the heroic bravery of that time.
On the other hand, the Sudanese scholar who is director of Al Maktoum charity organization, Abdul Salam Adam, said the victory which Ethiopia took against the invaders is a source of pride for Africans.
دي واحدة من الحركات الكبيرة اللي انتصر فيها الشعب الإثيوبي على العدو.
The victory of Adwa is the major among the battles that Ethiopia has fought and won. Adwa victory is not only attributed to the Ethiopian army, but the entire Ethiopians, because all Ethiopians took part in the battle widely. It is in fact our victory. The victory of Adwa has great meaning for all Africans. It gave us a lesson of overcoming colonizers and become independent.
He underlined that history will never forget this fascinating victory and will always recall it as a hallmark of Africa's independence.